All job and no act makes nest a boring little boy, so the old saying goes. But does it as well do nest less than efficient, less than effective, unfortunate, and more than tense? How's the type of a increasing quantity of sounding, consisting the UK's Trading Association Flesh, the TUC. They wish business community to cut the norm work 1 week of 5 days to fair 4 persons. The concept is how you hold your pay in, but job less several hours, a day off in the 1 week to conduct your own interests or expend period in the household. It may audio too nice to be real, but deceased recent year, one of the UK's guideline charities, the Welcome Confidence, kicked off an organisation-wide advice on if to carry out a 4 persons day 1 week. This examination issue for us was, could we enhance both of the performance and so-being of welcome personnel and at the identical period enhance the common effect we include as a mercy, says Ed Whiting, CEO of Politics at the Welcome Confidence. Business community about the nation took mention. Several less companies include already done the change to a 4 persons day 1 week, but for a big and respectable non-profit organization to go the identical way would include set an essential, maybe though a play-changing, precedence for the UK's industry scenery. Besides the Welcome Confidence solved versus it. The reasons were facility and it wasn't downward to a absence of passion. We had several human beings proverb, the is the largest breathtaking changing, I can very see how I can do more than and superior and how I would use the 5 date, says Mr. Whiting. But he says some employees concerned on their workload creature condensed in 4 persons days, time several portion time workers were worried how a new work 1 week would chaos up their care of children or some institutional arrangement. And maybe largest considerably, down there were yet other who concerned how plowing so lot power and period in driving to a 4 persons day 1 week would divert the mercy of its mandrel job. Mr. Whiting says they reasoned, really we be with those efficiencies we do, those performance reached, to do more than in 5 days. So in the late, it was solved how several of how mandrel industry, financing researchers and dealing big world problems, we might not be capable to do them as efficaciously, since of the destruction how the would reason. It wasn't price how heard the judgment no to go front, he says. It's more than the period cost of how you put the all along and do it job for us as an organization. The judgment is a strike for those who lawyer the go to a 4 persons day 1 week as a decision to growing distress and public health problems related to job, a way of increase the UK's performance, or though a answer to growing levels of automate in the job. Companies such as Glasgow-based sale company Chase Sale switching to a 4 persons day 1 week 3 year back, give her each servant Fridays off out of cut pay in. While we grown it initially, our financial CEO looked at it as fair a wages price, says Lorraine Gray, Chase Sales operative CEO. But she says how with later, the reached include been evident. Performance has enlarged by on 30%, disease keep is at an all-time low and down there include been sudden price saving too much, the business no much longer as necessary to pay vocational recruiters to rental personnel, as so lot human beings wish to job for them. Yet, the testimony of some components of the planet is blended. Some countries in shorten work several hours frequently seem more than efficient rather than the UK, the as-called performance surprise. In New Zealand, an property control business named Eternal Trustee tested a 4 persons day 1 week out of any losing in performance. On the Sumbrush, an experimental in 6-hour days at country-run nurse homes in Gothenburg, Sweden, found how time patient day and performance rates superior, personnel expenses rose significantly, as more than human beings had to be employed to fill in the gaps in the roster. The experimental was neglected. Ashim Singh, the CEO of economics at the King Community of Arts and chief of its Next Job Center, says sectors love sale and financial may discover it facilitating to go to a 4 persons day 1 week compared in sectors such as health, wherever you include to rotate upwards. His anxiety is how if several sectors cut their several hours but other don't, we'll end up in a couple-tier labor strength, and elitists of whites-collar workers who get a 4 persons day 1 week, time other work more than servant jobs go on in 5 days. The judgment, he says, as necessary to be undertaken at a domestic standard. This issue is, are we produced to do politically hard option on if we valorize recreation and conducting period in our families as portion of our economics and community. The Welcome Confidence says how in the 4-persons day 1 week off the order of business, it's now looking in option work institutional arrangement for its 800 employees, consisting more than versatile work institutional arrangement. And as for Lorraine Gray at Chase Sale, she says the business hasn't looked behind with it gave its employees an additional day off each 1 week. Fair Dong T urged them on a Friday.